Good afternoon. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment on this date of January 29th, 2026. I'd like to welcome everyone here in attendance today. My name is Mark LaHaye, and I'm the Secretary-Treasurer for the Committee of Adjustment. According to this committee's terms of reference, at the first meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the year, the first order of business is to appoint a chairperson to conduct today's meeting and future meetings of the year. The role of this chairperson includes the responsibility to chair the meeting, ensuring the meeting is conducted as listed on the agenda or by resolution if it is decided to move an item on the agenda, ensure meetings are conducted in accordance with the Planning Act and the city's procedural bylaw, calling for pecuniary interest when listed on the agenda, noting that it is up to the individual committee member to determine whether or not they have a pecuniary interest, and ensuring all members of the committee, visiting staff, and members of the public are treated with respect. Once the chairperson has been appointed, they will conduct the appointment of the vice chair of the committee, who will serve as the chairperson in the absence of the chair. I will now call on the members of the committee 3 times for nominations for the position of chair. So firstly, I call upon the members of the committee to put forward a nomination for the position of chair. Member Strangway.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate Mr. Robertson for the position of chair.
Mr. Robertson, do you consent to the nomination? Okay. I call on the members of the committee a second time for a nomination for the position of chair. I call on the members of the committee a third and final time for the position of the chair. I call on the member nominated, Mr. Robertson. Do you wish your name to stand for the position of chair? I declare that Mr. Robertson is appointed by acclamation as chair of the Committee of Adjustment. Please come forward and assume your position of the chair and conduct the meeting, including the appointment of the vice chair. And I would like a seconder for this motion. Member Richardson, thank you.
All right. That being the case, and thank you very much, committee. I appreciate your support, and we'll see how this year goes. Anyway, now I'm calling for nominations for the position of vice chair. Yes, Mr. Richardson.
I nominate Steve Strangway.
All right. Mr. Strangway, do you stand for vice chair?
Yes, I appreciate the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair? All right. That being the case, you will stand for vice chair then, Mr. Strangway?
Yes, thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Ms. Archer? All right. That being the case, why not? All those in favor of Mr. Strangway as vice chair? That carries. All right. Thank you very much. Welcome, Steve. We'll do our best up here. All right, to getting everything organized here. All right, as required under the Planning Act, I'm calling the meeting to order. a public meeting is being held prior to the committee making a decision on these applications before us. And as part of that, I would advise that we live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel, and the recording is available after the meeting. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all of these ways, video or audio recording by members of the public, it's not permitted while in these council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make a deputation feel at ease. And we thank you for your cooperation on those matters. All right, so the first thing I'll do is introduce the Committee of Adjustment. And as you know probably already, I'm Mr. Robertson. We've got Mr. Strangway. We've got Mr. Finn, Mr. Erickson, Ms. Archer, and Ms. Richardson. Alrighty, and we've got Councillor Yo via Zoom. Welcome, Councillor Yo. Alrighty. Staff people here, we've got actually the Director of Development Services, Ms. Berry. She's via Zoom as well. Welcome, Director. We've got Ms. Evans, the Development Supervisor. We've got Mr. Shahid, Planner 2. Mr. Okawat, Planner 2. And if I get this wrong, I do apologize, but Mr. Ghaffari, alrighty, Planner 2 as well. Welcome. And we've got Mr. McKinnon, Supervisor, Plans, Review, and Inspections. Mr. Lahe is our Secretary Treasurer. And Ms. Crockford is our Recording Secretary. If I missed anyone, I apologize. It's quite a menu here. Alrighty. To start things off, are there any comments or questions with respect to the agenda as printed? Being none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as printed? Mr. Finn, Mr. Erickson, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, I guess we're going to be, all right, because we have someone on Zoom, we're going to be doing recorded votes. I think we're okay on this. I'll ask for all those in favor for the approval of the agenda. All right, that carries. Thank you. All right. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? All right, Councillor Yo, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. File COA 2026-009. I have a conflict as I currently have a estimate in on doing that job.
The location of that, I'll let just so everyone.
51 Lakeview Road.
51 Lakeview. All right, thank you for that. And Mr. Finn, I saw your hand.
Yes, I have a pecuniary interest with regard to file number D20 2026-003. The location is 1 Douglas Drive. It's located on Head Lake, and I have a property on Head Lake of my own.
All right, I would ask Mr. Finn when that comes up that if you would remove from the council chambers.
Yes.
I would appreciate that, thank you. All right. All right, the minutes of the meeting of November. Are there any comments or questions with respect to the minutes of the previous meeting? All right. Being none, can I get a motion then on the floor to adopt those minutes as printed? Mr. Erickson, Councillor Yo, I see your hand there? No, I didn't. All right, do I have a seconder?
No.
All right, Mr. Strangway. All right. We better do a record on this then. Mr. Erickson.
Favor.
Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Councillor Yo.
In favor.
All right, Ms. Richardson.
In favor.
Ms. Archer.
In favor.
Mr. Finn.
In favor.
And I'm in favor. All right. For the benefit of everyone here and online, the committee will hear comments, gather information, and may ask questions to clarify statements made. The committee may ask and answer questions or redirect questions to the appropriate person. Please note that any information or comments given to the committee during this meeting, they're considered evidence. We will first hear from staff, then the applicant or his or her agent. We will then hear from any person in support of or from those who have questions, concerns, or are opposed to the application. Finally, the applicant or his or her agent will have an opportunity to respond to any of the statements made to the committee. Now, I would ask that if you wish to speak to the committee here, please raise your hand and I will ask you to come forward to the podium. And there's a button there, I think it says speaker. You'll see a red light come on and then we'll be able to hear you as you make your presentation. And from those online, when you come on the screen, I would appreciate it if you would give us your name. We afford everyone that makes a presentation 10 minutes. Most people don't even come near that, but we will afford you the 10 minutes. And if you find that you just can't possibly get all that information in 10 minutes, then I will ask the committee if they will afford you a couple of more minutes. But that very rarely happens, but we at least give you that opportunity. So thank you for that. And having said all that, we're now going to deal with file number D20-2026-001, and this is 109 Queen Street, former town of Lindsay. Mr. O'Callaghan, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. The property is situated in the former town of Lindsay with access from Queen Street. Commercial and residential uses can be found on Queen Street, with the subject property located within the highest concentration of commercial use activity found along this street. 109 Queen Street currently contains 2 sheds and a single-story commercial building that was built in 1950 based on data from MPAC. The proposal involves removing all existing structures and constructing a new 2-story mixed-use building that consists of commercial space on the first floor and residential on the second floor. Relief is required from the front yard setback, the interior side yard setback, the minimum driveway aisle width, and the maximum lot coverage permitted for parking spaces. Furthermore, this property is also going through a site plan application for this proposal. The subject property is zoned mixed residential commercial under the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw. The MRC zone permits commercial uses such as offices and eating establishments, as well as residential uses above permitted commercial uses. The zoning bylaw requires a front yard setback of 7.5 meters. The proposed building has a front yard setback of 1.2 meters. The intent of the minimum front yard setback is to ensure adequate spatial separation between built form and the street, as well as maintaining the character of the streetscape. The existing commercial building already encroaches further into the front yard setback than the proposed 2-story mixed-use building. The properties to the front are primarily commercial, while the rear abuts a single detached dwellings. Given this context, the reduced front yard setback is appropriate as it will not create privacy impacts for commercial uses and maintains adequate separation from nearby residential properties. Additionally, the proposed setback is consistent with the surrounding streetscape, where similar front yard setbacks are common. The zoning bylaw also requires an interior side yard setback of 3 meters. The proposed building has an interior side yard setback of 1 meter to the west of the property line. The intent of the interior side yard setback is to control building massing and protect privacy, while also ensuring adequate space for access between front and rear yards and general building maintenance. The property abutting the west lot line is vacant and undeveloped, and similar interior yard setbacks are found on nearby properties. The east side yard setback remains substantial, providing adequate space for access. In this context, the reduced setbacks are not expected to create adverse impacts on adjacent properties or interfere with access or ongoing maintenance. The zoning bylaw also requires a minimum driveway aisle width of 7 meters. The proposed driveway aisle width is 6 meters. The intent of the minimum parking space width requirement is to provide sufficient space for safe and efficient vehicle access, including ease of parking and maneuvering. In this case, the proposed spaces are considered marginally deficient. The proposed parking layout ensures that parking remains functional for standard vehicles without impacting circulation or safety on the lot. Finally, the zoning bylaw permits a maximum of 50% of the lot area to be used for parking. The proposed parking spaces are 61.2% of the lot area. The intent of this provision is to ensure that sufficient space is retained on the property for landscaping, open space, and other functional site elements, while minimizing the visual and environmental impact of large parking lots. The proposed lot coverage for parking provides the required number of spaces in accordance with the zoning bylaw. Parking is situated at the rear of the property to minimize visual impact, and landscaping will be retained along the property lines. No significant environmental impacts are anticipated, and the design ensures efficient use of the lot while reducing the potential for on-street parking. Given this analysis, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and the purpose of the zoning bylaw. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the engineering department indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. I would also like to note that the applicant has also prepared a presentation with slides. If committee prefers, we can pause now and allow the applicant to present, or we can continue with questions and hear the applicant's presentation after. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll follow the normal procedure. Are there any questions of the planner from the committee? Ms. Archer?
Through you, please, to the planner. The very small side yard setback, will that hinder the property to the west when and if it gets developed?
Through the chair, based on my analysis when I was at the property, I don't believe that it would cause too much of a spatial issues from a planning perspective. I say that as obviously when there is a new building proposed on that property, we would look at how much spatial and distance they would have to this new building that will be constructed. And we would ensure that there's enough adequate space on that front. There's also other properties around the area that also have a bit more denser use of the land, which would close in those setbacks as well.
Anything further from the committee? All right, being none. Is the applicant here? Yes, sir. And your name, sir, when you get that red light on?
Good afternoon. My name is Gord Mahoney. I'm a senior planner with Michael Smith Planning Consultants.
Go ahead.
We don't need to bring my presentation up. I'm going to skip most of my presentation. My colleague has done an excellent job in reviewing the application for the committee, and I do appreciate that. I did want to note a couple things. First, I would concur with staff that the variances meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I also would like to state that it's my opinion that represents good planning and it's in the public interest. The one item I did want to bring before the committee is condition number 2. I understand the intent of the condition. I do have a couple concerns with it, and I would ask the committee consider changing it from a condition to a term of the minor variance and rewording it as such. The owner shall be made aware that this approval shall be in effect for a period of 24 months after the date of notice of decision. If a building permit is not issued for the proposed development within 24 months, the approval shall be deemed annulled and rescinded by the committee.
All right, I'm going to ask you, what is your rationale for that change?
Okay, I have 2. First, it's a condition. It has to be fulfilled before a building permit can be issued. I can't really fulfill that condition because it requires me to get a building permit. So it's kind of a circular issue. The next, which I have run into the past in other municipalities in another application, the way the condition's worded, it would seem no matter if a building permit is issued, the variance lapses or ends in 2 years. So in 30 years, 40 years, when everybody here, including myself, is no longer working on this, and someone goes to look at it and goes, "Oh, the building was built, but that variance lapsed 2 years after. It no longer complies with the zoning bylaw." That's my issue. I understand the intent. I do. And I did approach the planner about it. And if the committee doesn't want to, I'm fine with it. But I just, in my opinion, feel it's better to be served as a term and not a condition of the variance.
You said there was 2. Was there another one?
Again, it's a condition which needs to be fulfilled before the variance can be in place. I'm not sure how I fulfill that when it tells me it just lapses within 24 months. There's nothing to be done. That's the first one. The second one was the issue of future review of this minor variance in the site.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Coward, I'm going to ask you to respond to that.
Through the chair, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take a crack at this
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
So you might have noticed that our condition 2 is different than it usually is. We've been working with the building division to adjust the wording because we used to say that building construction related to the minor variance had to be completed within 2 years, and then the condition was fulfilled upon the completion of the first building inspection. Which caused some issues with the building division because the wording wasn't clear. What does first building inspection mean? And there was also sometimes some pressure on the building division when a minor variance was imminently going to lapse. There was pressure to get someone from building out there to look at my property, whether I've built something or not, just to fulfill the condition so it didn't lapse. So we worked with building to adjust the wording to make it more, I think, flexible for different situations that we see at the Committee of Adjustment, because we don't always take things that need building permits. So in some cases, there is no first building inspection because there's no permit. We also see some things that are for enforcement, so no change is actually occurring on the property. It's just recognizing something that's already there. So this new condition simply states that the approval that someone gets at the Committee of Adjustment lasts 2 years, 24 months. And after that, it lapses, and that permission that was granted is no longer in place. So really, it has the same effect as the previous condition. So whatever you needed your minor variance for, you have 2 years to do that. If you need a building permit, you have 2 years to do that. If you were going to construct something that didn't need a building permit, like a small shed, you have 2 years to do that. If it was something to, for example, recognize a pergola that maybe was already there, that approval that you get from the Committee of Adjustment lasts 2 years, and then after that, the structure holds a legal non-complying status. So this condition allows us to use the same standard language to cover different scenarios that we see here, but it does allow, again, for flexibility like we have in the past where we can change the amount of time. So if it's a 12-story apartment building, we can extend it longer than 2 years. If it's an enforcement matter, we can do 8 months, for example. So in terms of fulfilling it, it's really not that different from condition 1, which says that you proceed generally in accordance with your sketch. There's really no actionable item that you do to fulfill that. It's just telling you that whatever you did your minor variance for, what you end up building has to be the same. So it's similar in that nature. We haven't tied it to a building permit because, again, not everybody needs a building permit. And something that I think is good for that is if hypothetically we ever put a condition on it that said you have to get a building permit and they didn't need a building permit and it was our error, we've created a condition that cannot be fulfilled for that shed, for example. It would end up having to come back to the Committee of Adjustment because we don't have the power to change the condition after the fact. And it's, again, also taking, I think, some of the responsibility off of the building division to fulfill our minor variance conditions. Because if we tie it to a building permit, if there's a big rush at the end and, I have to fulfill my condition before tomorrow, I need you to, issue my permit today, then it becomes a lot of pressure on the building division. In terms of lapsing minor variances, we've always done that where they do lapse after 2 years. So that hasn't changed with this condition. So you have 2 years with the permission that you got from the Committee of Adjustment. After that, the building has that legal non-complying status. So it's not a permanent, you can always forever build at a 1 meter interior side yard setback. It's this moment for this proposal for 2 years becomes a legal non-complying status. So we lapse our minor variances here so they don't have that forever lasting permission, and also to encourage building to happen in a timely manner. So I hope that helps.
Mr. McKinnon, Ms. Evans mentioned the building department a couple of times. Do you wish to say anything in response to it all?
No, I think she covered that quite well. Thank you, Your Chair.
Are there any questions from the committee? Okay, go ahead, sir. Mr. Erickson?
Through the chair, what's the legal basis for saying 24 months as opposed to, in other applications here, for whatever, 8 months and so forth?
Ms. Evans?
Through the chair, 24 months is what we have kind of determined to be a fair amount of time to, go and get a building permit or whatever it is that you need to do. We have made it longer for, apartment buildings that 2 years maybe isn't as feasible, or shorter if it's an enforcement matter where we're recognizing something that is already there and isn't going to change. So the 24 months is something that has traditionally been used by the city of Kawartha Lakes. I think other municipalities use 2 years as well as a fair amount of time, but if a proponent felt like they needed more time, we could absolutely discuss that with the committee. If it's a shorter time, it's usually something that already was built.
Ms. Archer? Sorry, did you have a follow-up, Mr. Erickson? Go ahead.
Yes, you're saying it's tradition, that's the term of the period that you use. Is there any legal basis for it?
Through the chair, no. 24 months has been what we've been using, so if there is an issue with 24 months with the committee, maybe that's another discussion, but that is what we've used.
Actually, Ms. Evans is quite right. I think we've had them in the past where they varied a little bit, and we've actually on occasion asked the applicant if that was sufficient time to complete the work they've had. So I totally agree. There's nothing written in stone, but we do our best to accommodate, and so that's kind of how it works. Ms. Archer?
For you, please, I just need a bit of clarification. I don't know if I understand it properly or not. In previous times, they had to have the first building inspection, and then they went from there. So now, does the building have to be completely done within the 24 months? Because there's nothing, I don't see anything that says what has to be done.
Through the chair, no. So the condition is a little bit more flexible to accommodate different scenarios, but if you need a building permit, you need your committee approval to get your building permit. If it lapses before you get the building permit, building cannot issue a permit that doesn't comply with the zoning bylaw. So you have to do your building permit if you need one for your proposal, if that makes sense.
All you have to do then is get your building permit with it, and then you've got forever?
Through the chair, you do have to get your building permit, and then, yeah, you can build. I suppose there is a little bit less pressure on applicants because they don't have to get to that building inspection stage. So there's a little bit more time and flexibility for them without it lapsing before they can get to that stage, especially seasonal. Depending on when you do your minor variance and how long it takes you, you might get to a time of year where building something, first building inspection isn't feasible, and then it lapses because of timing in the year. So,
yes, Mr. Strangman, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Evans. It's interesting that this has come up as a discussion relating to conditions. I'm just wondering, in the rewriting of the condition, was a legal opinion sought on that? Or the other thing is, did we look at other municipalities to see how this is worded? Or is this just something that between yourselves and the building department we've come up with? I'm just wondering about the legal implications.
Through the chair, so we didn't receive a legal opinion. This was something that I did research on other municipalities and kind of found examples of similar types of conditions. And then I presented a few different options to the Secretary Treasurer, the Chief Building Official, and the Director of Development Services, and this was the option that they felt most comfortable moving forward with.
Okay, thank you.
Further from committee? All right, so you're suggesting then, Ms. Evans, that that is a change, and that's probably what you're going to be proceeding with in the future?
Through the chair, this is, yes, the option that we decided to proceed with, but ultimately if the committee decides that they would like to change the condition for this application, then that's something that you can discuss further.
All right, Mr. Smith, you've heard the comments surrounding this issue. Do you have anything further to add?
Through you, Mr. Chair, first of all, I'm Mr. Mahoney. I work for Michael. That's okay. I just want to make sure the recording secretary has it right. I didn't mean to stir up or hit a hornet's nest. I really didn't. And I will leave it in the committee's hands on what you guys would like to do. Thank you.
There's never a bad question. The only bad questions are the ones that don't get asked. So we know we appreciate you bringing that to our attention. And all right, anything further on the committee to the applicant? All right. Is there anyone here online that wishes to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to this application, opposition to the application? I'm advised there aren't any. Committee. Ms. Richardson.
As recommended by staff.
All right. I have a seconder. Mr. Finn. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Ms. Richardson.
In favor.
Mr. Finn.
In favor?
Mr. Erickson.
In favor?
Ms. Archer.
In favor?
Councillor Yo.
In favor?
Mr. Strangway.
In favor?
And I'm in favor. The motion passes. The application is approved, sir, with the condition described by staff. All right. All right, moving right along. We're now dealing with file number D20-2026-002, and this is 66 Logie Street, former town of Lindsay. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is located in a low-density residential area northeast the intersection of Logie Street and Holtham Street. The surrounding neighborhood is primarily residential with built form consisting of single detached dwellings with varying accessory structures. So the subject property currently contains a single detached dwelling, a detached garage, and a gazebo. The proposal seeks to recognize an addition constructed onto the existing garage, as well as the gazebo. Relief is being sought from the interior side yard setback, the exterior side yard setback, and total lot coverage. So looking at the interior side yard, the existing detached garage is positioned at an angle to the interior side lot line and minimally set back. As a result, any addition to the rear of the garage would result in an encroachment to the interior side yard. The space provided in between the garage and side lot line is sufficient for passageway and maintenance when required. With regards to the exterior side yard, I have a few images on the screen to help with visualization. So the top image on the slide, I have circled the gazebo as seen from the intersection of Logie and Holtham. And the existing gazebo is located further away from the exterior side lot line when compared to the existing dwelling, its front porch, and its rear deck. And the road shoulder is quite wide at the intersection, approximately 20 meters in width. So as a result, the gazebo is well distanced from the traveled portion of the street. Looking at overall lot coverage, when excluding the existing garage addition and gazebo, overall lot coverage is approximately 13.6%, which already exceeds the permitted maximum. As a result, any additional development on the property would have further increased this non-compliance. And although overall lot coverage is exceeded, accessory structure lot coverage remains compliant at 5.6%. And just for comparative purposes, the zoning bylaw typically prescribes lot coverage starting at 35% for low density residential zones like the R1, R2, R3 zones. So this zone and its required lot coverage is a bit of an outlier. Moving on to comments, after the writing of the report, the building division stated they have no comments or concerns. Development engineering division stated they have no objection to the application. A condition has been added to ensure a Section 59 notice is done as per the request of the Kawartha Conservation Authority, and no comments were received from any public members prior to this meeting. Overall, the proposed development does not change the use of the land, nor does it create land use incompatibility with nearby properties or disrupt the character of the area. And to conclude, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we respectfully recommend approval of the application subject to the revised conditions identified. Thank you.
Mr. Shahid, you stole all my thunder with your change. I was going to ask you about that Kawartha Conservation thing. It seemed to be a fairly important thing, but you got it in there. Thank you. All right, any questions of the planner? Ms. Archer.
Through you, please, to the planner. Just the condition is that they apply for this Section 59 notice. What if they don't receive one? What if they're refused? Along that line, the Kawartha Conservation doesn't really act usually too fast, so a month isn't much time.
Mr. Shahid?
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. That's a good point. We can change the condition so that it says they apply and receive the Section 59 notice. But I can say that typically Section 59 notices are given like less than 24 hours, 48, like they give them quite quick, yeah. The risk management official there is quick on those, so.
Just amend that.
Yeah, we can amend it. And the property owner actually has already applied for the Section 59 notice, but it's just, they just applied for a recent, like just yesterday, so that's why the condition has been added there. Thank you.
Further from committee? Mr. Strangway.
Mr. Shahid, can you give me a Coles Notes version of what's involved in a Section 59? Is it a detailed thing, or what does it apply to? We see this term, but I don't know that we've ever talked about what's involved with it and what Kawartha Conservation is looking as far as protecting the intake water.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I wish we had someone here from the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority to answer that, but I'll do as best as I can. So basically, they identify source protection areas. So when development is within this area, they have their own internal mapping to determine this. They basically take a look at if the development potentially will contaminate the water, like for example, if there's a stream. So that's generally what they look at. I have one of their reports where they go deeper into everything they take a look at. But off the top of my head, I don't know in detail exactly what they examine, but let me actually take a look at their website. They do have some details, so I can explain them here.
Just to keep things moving, I wonder if Mr. Shahid would send that information out to us. I don't need it right now, just, so we know in future if that would be okay with you.
All right, Mr. Shahid, you're content with that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, that works.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Strangway. We'll save you some time, hopefully. All right. Anything further from the committee? Mr. Erickson.
If I could just ask, the place structure towards the rear of the property, is it fully on the applicant's property, or does it straddle the property line of the neighbor on the court beside this property?
Through you, Mr. Chair, sorry, I missed which structure are you referring to?
The play structure, you see, let me just show them here. On the plan, Appendix B.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Erickson, yeah, we probably should make this a public thing rather than you discussing with the planner. So do you want to give us a little bit of an elaboration on where you're going?
Yeah, well, there's a play structure at the rear of the property. I used to live in that house right across from the play structure. So I just wonder, because it was a matter of opinion, whether or not that play structure was in fact totally on the applicant's property.
Mr. Shahid?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. So the thing is, this is something that we see in the aerial imagery, and we can't guarantee the accuracy of aerial imagery. So I can't tell you exactly if it's even still there, or if it's on the applicant's property or on the neighboring property. So aerial imagery is more so just for references for the purpose of the presentation and for the report.
Go ahead.
If I might just point out, on Appendix C, that play structure is not even on the plan for Appendix C.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, typically we do not consider these play structures or these play buildings, or however we want to call it, a structure that would be applicable under the zoning bylaw. So it's not required to be on any sketch.
And that's the question I was going to ask you. Do you see in any way that it might negatively impact on the variance?
To you, Mr. Chair, I think it's not something that would be applicable under the zoning bylaw, and so I don't see how it would impact specifically this minor variance at this time.
Mr. Erickson? Yeah, okay, all right. Anything further from committee? All right. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application?
No, I'm okay, Chair, thank you.
And your name, sir?
James Wolvers, sorry.
Please go, all right, go ahead.
I've got nothing more to add. That was a good job by Mr. Shahid, thank you.
Are there any questions of the applicant? All right, being none. Is there anyone here online that wishes to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? I'm advised none, committee, so where are we? Ms. Archer?
As amended, amended.
Yes, exactly, yep. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Richardson? Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none. All right, Ms. Archer?
In favor?
Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Strangway?
In favor?
Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Erickson?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor?
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. We're dealing with file number D20-2026-003, and this is 1 Douglas Drive, Geographic Township of Laxton. Go ahead, Mr. O'Callaghan, and thank you, Mr. Finn.
Thank you. The property is situated in a waterfront community on Head Lake with access from the private road, Douglas Drive. Access to the property is gained through an easement that runs across multiple properties, with 1 Douglas Drive being the final property along the easement. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling. A detached garage is proposed on the property. The proposed garage will be located adjacent to the unopened road allowance that is covered with trees and vegetation. Relief is required from the maximum height of an accessory structure and a minimum flankage yard setback. The property is zoned limited service residential, LSR, under the United Townships of Laxton, Digby, and Longford zoning bylaw. The LSR zone permits a single detached dwelling as well as accessory structures. The zoning bylaw permits a maximum height of 5 meters for accessory structures. The proposed height of the detached garage is 6.5 meters. The purpose of this provision is to control the height of accessory structures, ensuring the visual character of the area is maintained and that neighboring properties are not overshadowed. The proposed height supports the functional design of a garage and provides adequate storage. The size and lower elevation that the garage will be located in will ensure that the garage will not overshadow the existing dwelling or appear visually significant. Additionally, the garage will be surrounded by tall trees and vegetation, helping to maintain privacy and the visual character of the neighborhood. The zoning bylaw also requires a minimum flankage yard setback of 6.0 meters. The proposed detached garage has a flankage yard setback of 1.5 meters. The intent of a flankage yard setback requirement is similar to the intention of establishing a minimum front yard setback, which is to establish a consistent streetscape, provide adequate separation between the building and the street, and allow for landscaping and visibility. The flankage lot line for 1 Douglas Drive abuts an unopened road allowance that is heavily vegetated. The proposed 1.5 meter setback maintains the general intent of the zoning bylaw by ensuring the structure remains compatible with the surrounding built form. The proposed structure will be surrounded by tall vegetation, creating both a physical and visual buffer, and will not impact sight lines as there are no vehicle traffic due to the road allowance being unopened. Given this analysis, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the engineering department as well as the building and septic division, indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions of the planner? Ms. Archer?
Could you please go to Appendix A and show me where the easement is on this property? Douglas Drive isn't an open road, is that right?
So through the chair, Douglas Drive, if I can show you the aerial imagery, there's Douglas Drive that comes out here, and there, right around this property over here, there's an easement that goes through several properties and enters into 1 Douglas Drive. So the property does front on Douglas Drive, but the easement to access the actual house would come through that easement that comes right through here, with like large vegetation surrounding the road over here.
And where on that sketch then is the garage to be?
Through the chair, so you can see that there's the easement comes over here and the garage would be located right at that purple square over there.
All right. Anything further from committee? All right. Being none. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to? Oh, yeah, there we are. If you'd give us your name, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's Vanessa Archer from TD Consulting. Thank you to the planner on the file for the report. And I'm just here if there's any additional questions or concerns.
Folks are keeping you busy the last little while. Very good. Are there any questions of the applicant? All right, being none, thank you. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee, where are we? Mr. Strangway.
As recommended by staff.
All right, and a seconder. You had a question? Yeah, seconded by Mr. Councillor Yeo. Do you have a question, Ms. Archer?
KRCA is not involved in this?
Mr. McCullough?
Through the chair, I don't believe so. Let me just pull it up again. Through the chair, the subject property is not regulated by KRCA.
All right, I've got a motion on the floor. Are there any further comments or questions with respect to that motion? All those in, whoop, no, wrong. Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Councillor Yeo.
In favor.
Ms. Richardson.
In favor?
Ms. Archer.
In favor.
Mr. Erickson.
In favor.
Thank you. Mr. Finn, you're okay to return. And the application is approved, sir. All right, we're now dealing with file number D20-2026-004, and this is 31 Silo Road, Geographic Township of Manvers. And Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is located in the geographic township of Manvers with access from both Silo Road and Elevator Road. There's no clear period of when the built form was constructed in the area. The subject property is heavily treed including at its main entrance and accessway from Silo Road. And I should mention that the property is also the last accessible lot at the end of Silo Road, as it is a dead-end road. So the subject property currently contains a single detached dwelling with attached garage, pergola, shed, gazebo, shipping container, and a detached sunroom. The proposal seeks to facilitate the recognition of the existing detached sunroom. The owner has stated that the sunroom is used as an enclosed sunset viewing structure for their own personal use. I have various images on the slide showing the subject structure, as well as an image showing the intended use of the structure, which is to view the sunset. So as previously mentioned, the property is heavily vegetated, and this vegetation buffers most of the views of the property from the road and the surrounding neighbors. The detached sunroom is not visible from the road, as it is located distantly away in the rear yard amongst heavy vegetation, and the additional height is set to allow for an elevated viewing area, enhancing the ability to observe the sunset for personal enjoyment. Also, the overall lot coverage of all the accessory structures is well in compliance at 0.06% in comparison to the permitted 8%, ensuring accessory structures remain subordinate to the primary dwelling and overcrowding is avoided. Moving on to comments, after the writing of the report, the Development Engineering Division stated they have no concerns with the application. The Supervisor Part 8 Sewage Systems and the Building Division stated they have no concern with the application. And in terms of public comments, we received comments from the owner of 16 Elevator Road, who stated they have no objection to the minor variance application. And they did have some concerns regarding the permissibility of specific uses on the lot, which I reached out to them to clarify and answer their questions. To conclude, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we respectfully recommend approval of the application, subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm wondering if you might suggest to the applicant they frame that one on the right. That looks pretty good. Are there any questions of the planner? Ms. Archer.
Through you to the planner, I thought we weren't allowed to build on an unassumed road. I must be wrong.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that's a good question. The zoning bylaws specifically for this lot, it's within an exception zone. So the exception zone allows for development to be made on an unassumed road.
Further from the committee? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? I am advised there is no applicant. All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to this application, opposition to the application? Being none. Committee, where are we? Ms. Richardson.
As recommended by staff.
All right. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn?
I second
Oh, sorry. You have a question or second?
No, I second that.
Second. All right. Are there any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Being none. Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Finn?
In favor?
Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Erickson?
In favor?
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway?
In favor?
And I'm in favor. The application is approved. We're now dealing with file number D20-2026-005, and this is 310 County Road 121, Geographic Township of Fenelon. And we're going to put Mr. Ghaffari to work. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So here we have 310 County Road 121, Fenelon. The subject property, municipally addressed as 310 County Road 121, is situated in the geographic township of Fenelon and is accessed from County Road 121. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling with an attached garage. The property also has a detached garage. The proposal is to construct an additional residential unit, ARU, in the front yard of the property. Relief is required from the accessory structure location provision to locate the ARU in the front yard, which is being addressed through the minor variance. The subject property is zoned as agricultural A1 zone under the Township of Fenelon zoning bylaw 12-95. Section 3.1.2.1 of the zoning bylaw requires accessory structures to be located in the interior side or rear yard. The proposed ARU is to be located in the front yard. The intent of limiting the location of accessory structures to the interior side or rear yard is to ensure that accessory uses remain secondary to the primary use by being located in less visible areas on the property. In this case, the subject property will maintain its limited level of visibility from the road as it is screened by an existing line of vegetation at its front lot line that provides a buffer between the front yard of the property and County Road 121. As a result, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. In terms of comments were received after the writing of the report from the Engineering Department, Building and Septic Division, and the Part 8 Sewage System Supervisor, all indicating that they have no concerns. Furthermore, Kawartha Conservation also indicated that they are in support of the variance and that they would require a permit. And staff acknowledges that the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified.
Thank you, sir. Other questions of the planner? Mr. Erickson? To Finn, sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm just looking at the material, Appendix B, the aerial photograph, and Appendix C. And on Appendix C, you have the proposed ARU, but there appears to be a structure, looking at the aerial photograph, Appendix B, already in that location. Do you know if there's a structure there already?
Through the chair, if I just could take a moment. So, through the chair, the air photo is from 2023, and based on my site visit of the property, the structure was no longer in that location.
Thank you.
Further questions of the planner? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? Yes, please come forward.
Maggie Shafik from Bardo & Co.
You go ahead.
No comments. I just to refer to the structure, it was a storage unit, but it is no longer there.
All righty, thank you. The questions of the applicant? Ms. Richardson, I saw, no? All right. Your lucky day. Nothing further. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? I'm waiting. Do we have someone? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee, where are you? Ms. Archer?
It's printed.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Yeo? All right. I have a motion on the floor. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Councillor Yeo?
In favor?
Mr. Erickson?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved. All right, thank you. Do you are you an applicant, sir? Do you have which one are you with? '51. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Rather than hold you, you're the last one here. I'm going to ask the committee then if we can move 3.1.8 ahead and deal with it now. Do I have a motion? Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. As long as everyone's well, we better have a motion then. Ms. Richardson, do we have a seconder? Mr. Strangway, and we'll go with an all those in favor, and that carried. Right. So we're now doing 3.1.8. That's file number D20-2026-009, 51 Lakeview Cottage Road, Geographic Township of Bexley. Call it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I get into the evaluation of this application, I want to speak to the reliefs that were circulated and the additional reliefs that were later identified as being required. The proposal for this application is a detached garage. A variance for overall lot coverage was identified and included in the circulation notice. However, after circulation, it was determined that an additional variance is required, specifically for the lot coverage of accessory structures. While lot coverage was already flagged as a required relief, this additional variance applies to only accessory structures. The sketch that was circulated to the public had highlighted the overall lot coverage relief and displayed the size of the structure. No public comments were received in opposition to this report, and although this relief was not highlighted, it was still visible and very similar to the variances that was already highlighted. This addition of a new relief has already been reflected in the report. Given this context, staff are of the opinion that the application can proceed with the additional relief added, as already detailed in the report, without need for recirculation. Mr. Chair, I will turn it back to you to determine if committee would like to proceed.
All right, thank you for that, and thank you for the explanation. Are there any questions of the planner? All right, then I would like and we can record this in the minutes, a show of hands if you're okay with going ahead with this. All right, and that's okay. All right, go ahead, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you. The property is located within a waterfront community on Balsam Lake with access from the public road, Lakeview Cottage Road. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling, a shed, and a detached garage. The proposal is to replace the existing garage with a new, larger detached garage in the same general location. Relief is required from the front yard setback, the maximum permitted height for accessory structures, the maximum permitted total lot coverage, and the maximum permitted lot coverage for accessory structures. The property is zoned rural residential type 3 under the Township of Bexley zoning bylaw. The RR3 zone permits a single detached dwelling and accessory structures. The zoning bylaw requires a minimum front yard setback of 7.5 meters. The proposed detached garage has a front yard setback of 3.7 meters. The intent of the front yard setback requirement is to establish a consistent streetscape, provide adequate separation between the building and the street. The proposed garage will be located in the same general area as the existing garage and will not further encroach into the front yard setback. The new garage will instead be set further back from the front lines, providing increased separation from the road. The zoning bylaw also permits a maximum height of 5 meters for an accessory structure. The proposed detached garage has a height of 5.2 meters. The purpose of this provision is to control the height of accessory structures and ensuring the visual character of the area is maintained and that neighboring properties are not overshadowed. The proposed height is intended to support the functional design of the garage and provide adequate storage space. The variance that is requested is minor and maintains the established character of the neighborhood. Furthermore, the proposed garage will not overshadow the existing dwelling as the dwelling has a greater height of 6.2 meters. The zoning bylaw also permits a maximum lot coverage of 30%. The proposed lot coverage is 41%. The purpose of this provision is to manage density and preserve open space to ensure that the residential character of the neighborhood is maintained. The property at 51 Lakeview Cottage Road is smaller than most of the neighboring properties. A significant portion of open space is preserved at the rear of the lot, as it is common for waterfront properties to prioritize the space between the dwelling and the shoreline. The proposed garage is intended to enhance the functionality of the property within the limited space available in the front yard and does not negatively impact the overall visual openness or character of the property. Finally, the zoning bylaw permits a maximum lot coverage of 8% or 225 square meters for accessory structures. The proposed lot coverage for all accessory structures is 15.5% and 87.8 square meters. The intent of this provision is to ensure that the accessory structures remain subordinate to the primary dwelling and that sufficient open space is maintained on the property for landscaping and amenity space. There is significant open space preserved in the front yard as well as open space in the front and side yards. As such, the proposed lot coverage does not compromise the balance between built and open space on the lot. Additionally, the proposed garage remains clearly secondary to the dwelling. Given this analysis, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Comments were received after writing the report from the engineering department as well as the building and septic division indicating that they have no concerns. Furthermore, Kawartha Conservation indicated that they are in support of the variance and require a permit. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? Mr. Finn?
Through you, Mr. Chair. The plan is to replace an existing garage. Did you take any dimensions of the existing garage to see how it fell within the requirements for lot coverage?
Mr. Collin?
Through the chair, for sure, I can check that out for you. Just give me one moment. Through the chair, I don't have the exact percentages, but the new garage will be approximately 2.5 times bigger than the previous garage in terms of square footage. The previous garage was 336 square feet, and the new garage is 840 square feet.
Thank you.
From committee. All right, being none. Yes, sir, do you wish to speak to it? You're okay, you're good? Are there any questions of the applicant? All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee, where are we? Mr. Erickson?
Approve as amended?
And do I have a, I'm not sure, where's that, what's the amended?
The coverage of accessory structures?
I'm sorry?
The coverage of accessory structures?
I don't think that's going to interfere with the motion at all, so, no. All right, now, all right, you made the motion? Who made the motion on that? Oh, Mr. Erickson, all right. Do I have a seconder? Okay, Ms. Richardson. Do you wish to speak to that? Are there any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right, Mr. Erickson.
Approve.
Ms. Richardson.
In favor.
All right. Mr. Strangwick?
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved, sir. Yeah, thank you. And you can come back online there, Councillor Yeo. All right. We're now dealing with file number D20-2026-006. And this is 18 Oriole Road, Geographic Township of Finland. Mr. Shahid, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of Cameron Lake with access from Oriole Road. According to the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, or MPAC, the surrounding area to the west is primarily low-density residential land uses in the form of single detached dwellings, while towards the east is a mix of that similar use and also commercial land uses. Based on MPAC, many structures in the surrounding area have gone through upgrades and renovations since their original construction. The subject property currently contains a single detached dwelling, a boathouse, and 2 sheds. The proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of an attached garage onto the existing dwelling. The existing dwelling is 1 story in height, and the proposed attached garage addition will also be 1 story in height. The applicable section of the zoning bylaw requires an interior side yard setback of 3 meters on one side and 1.3 meters on the other side. The proposed addition is 0.69 meters from the northern interior side lot line, and the proposed garage addition solely encroaches into the northern interior side yard, which requires a 1.3 meter setback. The southern side of the property is already deficient in its side yard with a setback of 2.4 meters. Access and privacy will continue to be provided in both side yards, and lot coverage remains compliant. And since the garage is 1 story in height, it aligns with the existing dwelling and ensures views are not impacted or largely changed. Additionally, the abutting building on the neighboring property to the north is situated closer to the water than the subject dwelling. Therefore, the addition doesn't raise concern to the distance of neighboring buildings. And you can see that on the top right corner image on the slide. So that building in the background is the northern abutting building. Moving on to comments. After the writing of the report, the Development Engineering Division stated they have no concerns with the application. The Supervisor Part 8 Sewage Systems requested a condition to be placed to ensure a site visit is conducted for the sewage system review. The Building Division stated that spatial separation could be a potential issue and that it will be addressed at the later building permit stage. The Kawartha Region Conservation Authority stated they are in support of the application and that a permit will be required from them. To conclude, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we respectfully recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sheed, I'll take you back to another one we had dealt with respect to the intake protection zone and the fact that it could pose a risk to drinking water surfaces. You don't have a condition there for that one, yet we did have a condition for the previous one. Where are you with that?
Yes, to Mr. Chair. They finished the Section 59 notice prior to this hearing, so it's already been done. It's been completed.
Mr. Strangway.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. In looking at the previous reports where there's lakefront property, you see the rectangle around the property. I notice in this one there are 2 rectangles going out into the lake in Appendix A. I'm just wondering why those rectangles are there. What are they showing or indicating being different from other reports we see where you don't see a rectangle going out into the lake?
Through you, Mr. Chair, let me just take a look quickly. Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, so in this case, the rectangle that's going out into the lake, so if you look into Appendix A, that portion isn't highlighted. It's outlined to show that there is a lot boundary there, but it's not included as the subject property because that land within the water is owned by Environment Canada based on our internal mapping system. So, and that boundary is used for tax assessment purposes from MPAC. So it's outlined on our locational maps because our GIS team creates these mapping using the assessment roll numbers and data provided from MPAC.
So I don't want to really prolong this at all, but I'm just wondering why it shows here and not on previous reports. And you look at the other lot lines along here, none of them seem to have it as well.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it could be that, for example, in this case, when we look at that rear portion, this is an actual piece of land that's owned by Environment Canada. It's taxed to Environment Canada. But when we look, for example, at the eastern property, 16 Oriole Road, that entire block is owned by the property owner. It could be in other, and then when we look westward of the subject property, there isn't a lot lying within the water because that's just publicly owned land. I mean water.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Right, I'm still not really clear, but I'll leave it at that right now. Thanks.
Anything further from the, okay, Ms. Archer?
Through you, please, to the planner. What is the use of 16 Oriole next door? Is it commercial, and what is it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe it's a restaurant based on Street View.
Ms. Archer, you're content with that? Mr. Finn?
I had the same question.
Oh, very good. Is there anything further from committee? All right. Is the applicant online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? And your name, sir?
Good afternoon, through you, your chair. My name is Nicholas Fegan. I'm the applicant for the file. I don't have any further comments. I really appreciate Ahmed's summary of our application, and it's always been a pleasure working with him. Something that I might be able to just provide some context is here to the conversation, if I'm understanding what the previous question was in regards to. So there's a restaurant on one side, but the neighbor to the north, where the garage is intended to be constructed, is a marina. And in fact, just so that the committee is aware as well, we received a letter of support from the owner of the marina for the construction of this garage. But by all means, if there's any further questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
All right, and I thank you for that, sir. Are there any questions of the applicant? All right, being none. Is there anyone here online that wishes to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application. All right, being none. Committee, where are we? Mr. Finn?
In favor.
As printed, do I have a seconder? Do I have a seconder? Ms. Richardson? I keep looking at Councillor Yeo there, but I didn't see his hand, so.
That's the amended.
You have a question?
Motion. That's the amended motion.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the amendment? Yes, Mr. Strangway?
A moment ago, I thought Mr. Finn was going to say something further. I wonder if there's anything further.
Oh, you weren't making a motion?
I was making a motion. I just wanted to clarify it was the amended motion.
Yeah. Yeah. Ms. Richardson, she was way ahead of us on that one, so very good. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Mr. Finn?
In favor.
Ms. Richardson?
In favor.
Councillor Yeo?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Erickson?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you very much to the committee for this afternoon, and to staff as well. I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah,
Have a
and
wonderful day.
Thank you very much with your positive comments for staff. Our staff do an excellent job, but it's always nice to hear it from outside
Absolutely.
as well. So thank you.
Hey, thank you so much.
We're now dealing with file number D20-2026-007, and this is 844 Eldon Road, Geographic Township, Mariposa. Mr. Ghaffari, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we're looking at 844 Eldon Road, Mariposa. The subject property, municipally addressed as 844 Eldon Road, is situated in the geographic township of Mariposa and accessed from Eldon Road. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling with an attached garage. The proposal is to construct a new storage building accessory structure in the front yard of the property. Relief is required from the accessory structure location provision and accessory structure lot coverage provision, which is being addressed through the minor variance. The subject property is zoned agricultural A1 zone with a clause that requires the property to comply with the permitted uses and zone provisions of the RR1 zone, section 8.2.1.7, under the Township of Mariposa zoning bylaw 94-07. Section 3.1.2.1 of the zoning bylaw requires accessory structures to be located in the side or rear yard. The proposed storage building accessory structure will be located in the front yard. The intent of limiting the location of accessory structures to the side or rear yard is to ensure that accessory uses remain secondary to the primary use by being located in less visible areas on the property. In this case, the subject property will maintain its limited level of visibility from the road as it is screened by an existing line of vegetation at its front lot line that provides a buffer between the front yard of the property and Farmstead Road. Section 3.1.3.1 of the zoning bylaw permits an accessory structure lot coverage of 10% to a maximum of 150 square meters. The proposed lot coverage is 298.66 square meters at 5.5%. The intent of this provision is to ensure that accessory uses remain secondary to the primary use or main building and maintain a balance between built form and open space. In this case, the proposed proportion that will be covered by the accessory structure at 5.5% is minimal, and an abundance of open space will be preserved in the compliant front, rear, and side yards. Moreover, larger accessory buildings are commonly found in agricultural areas, so the proposed structure is not out of character with the surrounding area. As a result, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. In terms of comments, comments were received after the writing of the report from the engineering department, the building and septic division, and the Part 8 sewage system supervisor, indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges that the application meets all four tests of a minor variance and recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Also, in addition, after the writing of the report, there was also public comment that was received. And these comments were received from an adjacent neighbor regarding the trees on the property with regards to the proposal. The question was whether they would be maintained in their current state. So I did reach out to the applicant to verify. The applicant said that the trees will not be affected as a result of the proposal and they will be maintained as they are. And I did forward those comments to the inquirer with no further communication received.
All right, thank you. Questions of the planner? Mr. Finn?
Through you, Mr. Chair. According to the application, the address of this property is 844 Eldon Road. Why do you consider Farmshed Road to be the front yard?
Through the chair, thank you for the question. So in terms of the zoning bylaw, as this is a corner lot property, the shorter lot line would be considered the front lot line, and as the shorter lot line is along Farmstead Road, that would be considered the front lot line.
Okay. Could I have a second question, Mr. Chair? Then if the frontage is considered Farmshed Road, is there not room for the proposed building to be in the side lot line, lot of the existing building? That would be to the western side of the property, where there seems to be 31 meters available.
Mr. Ghaffari?
Sorry, through the chair. So I believe the question was about locating it on the western end of the property. That would also lead it to being in the exterior side yard, so I believe that would also require minor variance as well.
Thank you.
Anything further from committee? All right,
Just,
being none.
Just if I could, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Yo.
Yeah, and I think the result of the last speaker, I think that would kind of put it right in front of their house looking at it. I think their view probably looks at the road. So I think the location is probably the best spot.
All right, thank you. Anything from committee? All right, is the applicant online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application?
Hi, my name is Wanda Knight. I'm the applicant, and I don't have any other further comments. They've done a wonderful job of explaining it all. I was just here in case there was any other questions that came up.
I didn't hear your name.
Wanda Knight.
Oh, thank you. All right, are there any questions of the applicant? Have you anything further to add? No, guess not. Okay, you're back on screen. Did you wish to add anything further?
No further comments. Just here if there was any other questions.
All right, and there aren't any, so at least there doesn't appear to be. All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? None, I'm advised. So do I have a motion? Ms. Archer?
Printed.
Seconded by Mr. Strangway. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Ms. Archer?
In favor.
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
Mr. Richardson?
In favor?
Councillor Yo?
In favor?
Mr. Erickson?
In favor.
Mr. Finn?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Your application is approved.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Oh, we're just moving along at a dizzying pace here. All right. File number D20-2026-010, and this is Craigo Lake Road, Geographic Township of Somerville. Mr. O'Connor, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The property is situated near a waterfront community that surrounds Craigo Lake. The neighboring properties are predominantly used for residential purposes, reflecting the established land use pattern in the area. The property is currently vacant, and the proposal is to construct a single detached dwelling and a detached garage. Relief is needed from the required frontage on an improved public street and the location of the detached garage. The property is zoned rural general under the Township of Somerville zoning bylaw. The RG zone permits a single detached dwelling as well as accessory structures. The zoning bylaw requires accessory structures to be located in the interior or rear yard. The proposed detached garage is located in the front yard. The intent of limiting accessory structures to the side or rear yards is to reduce visual presence of accessory structures and preserve the functional front yard space. In waterfront communities, garages are commonly located in the front yard to allow driveway access and comply with minimum water setbacks. Several nearby properties have similar front yard structures, and the proposed garage reflects this established pattern. As a result, it will be visually compatible with surrounding properties and maintain a cohesive streetscape. The zoning bylaw also requires frontage on an improved public street. Craigo Lake is an unassumed public street. The zoning bylaw defines an improved public street as a street that has been assumed by the city. Although Craigo Lake Road is a public road that is owned by the municipality, it has not been assumed, as the only service the road receives is seasonal. The intent of this provision is to ensure safe and reliable access for residents, emergency vehicles, and municipal maintenance. In this instance, the seasonal maintenance and existing road conditions are sufficient to provide functional and safe access to the property, while the development remains consistent with the established lots along the lake. Furthermore, the property owner has provided that the road is privately maintained year-round. Given this analysis, the variance is considered to maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the engineering department and building division indicating that they have no concerns. Due to weather conditions, a site visit for septic review was not able to be conducted. As a result, comments were received after the writing of the report from the septic division that adds a condition that states approval under the Ontario Building Code pertaining to private sanitary waste disposal be obtained within a period of 8 months after the date of notice of decision. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions of the planner? Mr. Finn?
If this property is completely vacant, why could it not, their proposals be designed so that they're not infringing the bylaw?
Sure, Cowett.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So this property is zoned RG while the other lots in the surrounding area are zoned LSR. The only lot or only road that it does front is Craigo Lake Drive, Craigo Lake Road. Because of some specific way that we define a public road within the zoning bylaw, this is why the LSR zone was permitted to have access to this road, but the RG zone wasn't. So this relief is just seeking a variance from that definition.
I'm thinking more of the location of the structures. You have concern with regards to the garage being in the front area. Could the design not be recreated?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Okay, I understand the question is about just specifically the location of the garage and why they couldn't have put it in a more compliant area. Am I correct?
Well, that's correct. There are no structures. This is completely vacant. So they could locate their dwelling somewhere and their garage somewhere.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I completely understand that thought. I would defer this question to the applicant, and maybe they can provide more of a reasoning why they would prefer it to be in the front yard.
Hold that thought, Mr. Finn.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further from committee? All right. Being none, is the applicant online? Well, good luck with your question. I'm told there's no one online. I understand what you were saying, but I'm not so sure that it can impact at this point. Yes, Mr. Erickson?
But it does impact it because this is just a proposal. All we're looking at is maybe that proposal could be redone so that all these reliefs aren't necessary.
All right, we say that, but I'm alluding back to what the planner has said, the staff person, and it would appear that you're most content with the situation as it exists. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, based on my analysis of the zoning bylaw and also conducting site visits within that area, it does seem that there are many waterfront properties there that do contain a front yard garage. I believe it just to be easier for access for a lot of these waterfront properties to be able to have their garage in the front yard. I totally understand the concern, but from a zoning perspective, I believe that this proposal will still meet what the bylaw intended to maintain.
Mr. Erickson? Or Mr. Finn? I don't know why I'm getting you guys mixed.
I'm still concerned that this is just a proposal. I'm sure the planner didn't look at alternate proposals. I can see where the planner has approved this. Could they not look at alternate proposal?
I've got the supervisor. Go ahead, Ms. Evans.
Through the chair, yes, thank you for the question. I do understand. If we're looking at a proposal that we feel can meet the 4 tests of a minor variance, we don't pressure someone to change what they desire. If they're comfortable doing the minor variance, with the fees and the time and the process, then we don't put pressure on someone to change what they want to comply if they are okay doing the variance and we feel that it's supportable. If we were in the beginning stages and we were concerned it wasn't supportable, then we would bring in some negotiation, or perhaps if it was, for example, very, very close to a side lot line and we were worried, we would, do some negotiation. Can you make it any smaller? Can you move it even a little bit so it could get closer to us being more comfortable supporting it? But in this case, there wasn't any concern, so we don't push people to do alternatives, especially because this needed a minor variance either way. So you might as well add the garage where you want it to be if you're going to be here anyway.
And thank you for that, Ms. Evans. Councillor Yeo, you had a comment?
Well, I did until staff spoke up there, and I appreciate staff stepping in because I totally agree with the comments about not pressuring somebody on a piece of property that's so big and is basically a blank slate for them to start with. And personal preference puts a lot into this when they have the ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think we'll see if we can have yes, Mr.
I guess the other thing we don't see on these diagrams, which I can appreciate, is the nature of the lot and the trees and various things, and maybe this is the best location. The other thing, while I appreciate Mr. Finn's concern, is that I think we're well aware that there's a new rule bylaw coming in, which is going to approve garages in the front yards, if I understand correctly as well.
Thank you. Let's see what we got going here first. All right, so there's no applicant. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application, support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application, opposition to the application? All right, committee, I'm advised not, so let's try a motion and see where it goes. Ms. Richardson.
As amended?
As amended, all right. Mr. Finn, what did I see there? Was that a second?
I was going to make another motion.
Oh, I see. Oh, so she beat you to it. All right, well, let's see where this one goes then. I have a seconder, Ms. Archer. All right. Ms. Richardson, do you wish to speak to it?
No, thank you.
Ms. Archer? Finn, go ahead.
I was going to propose that a motion be adopted with the amended conditions, but only with regards to the public street. That would be the relief sought under paragraph 1.
All right. Got a motion on the floor. So are you going to speak against this motion? Is that what you're telling here?
Yes, on the condition, on the relief sought under paragraph 2, I would speak against.
Any further comments or questions? All right. Being none, do you wish to? You heard what Mr. Finn had to say. Do you wish to make any comment? No. All right. Well, let's try this then. Ms. Richardson.
In favor?
Ms. Archer, you got a question? We're voting on the as amended, the motion as amended. No, Mr. Finn didn't make the motion. Ms. Archer or Ms. Richardson made the motion. You seconded it, and well, Mr. Finn has spoken against the motion, so he doesn't support it. All right, all right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right, being none. Yeah, Mr. Strangway.
Sorry to do this. Mr. Finn, could you again explain, what you're looking for, just before I vote on this?
Well, I guess my concern is that the owner's not here to give us some information as to why they've proposed. This is only a sketch. It's not as if someone has gone in and specifically said these buildings have to be located in the position where they are. They've just chosen to put a driveway in and put their dwelling in one spot, and lo and behold, the garage then ends up in the front yard. It's a blank slate, and I hear what the planner says, that this proposal is acceptable to them. And that may be the case, but I'd like to know, I'm sure there are other plans that would be acceptable to the planners as well, with the garage located in the rear or side area of the lot. So it's a lack of information, I guess, that's concerning me.
Yeah, and I would suggest that we're not able today to clarify that because the owner's not here. We have a motion on the floor, and the whole concept behind this is that if you don't agree with the motion, you have an opportunity here to speak against that motion. So that's what I've heard. So that being the case, we'll carry on. So Ms. Richardson.
I'm in favor of the amended motion.
Ms. Archer. All right. Councillor Yeo.
In favor.
Mr. Strangway.
In favor.
Mr. Erickson.
Opposed.
Mr. Finn.
Opposed?
All right. And I'm in favor. So majority rules and the application is approved. That's how it works here. You know, we may not always, and we've had it before, where we may not always agree with the motion, and we're given every opportunity to speak for or against that motion. So that's kind of how it works, and majority rules. So as the chair, that's the position I have to take. File number D20-2026-011, and this is 171 McGuire Beach Road, Geographic Township of Carden. Mr. Shahid, we have a memo from Mr. Shahid regarding this matter. Mr. Shahid, would you speak to it, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so the application was circulated in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. However, since the circulation of the application, new information was received from the applicant that requires our further review and evaluation. So we recommend that the application be deferred for a period of no more than 1 month to allow time for the applicant to further work with us on their application.
All right. Before I get a motion on the floor, because we can only speak to the time permitted if with a motion. So, excuse me, are there any questions of the planner prior to me asking for a motion? All right, being none, then can I get a motion to defer? Councillor Yeo, do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn, all right. Are there any questions with respect to the time indicated? So the motion will read that this matter be deferred and to return no later than the February 26, 2026 meeting. All right. Any comments or questions with respect to that? All right, being none, Councillor Yeo.
In favor?
All right, Mr. Finn?
In favor.
Mr. Erickson?
In favor.
Ms. Archer?
In favor.
All right, Ms. Richardson?
In favor?
Mr. Strangway?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The matter is deferred no later than the February 26th meeting of the Committee of Adjustment. All right. All right, anything under other business? Ms. Evans?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to take a moment and speak to a provincial change that has come down that will potentially impact some of the business at the Committee of Adjustment. So as of November 21st, 2025, the Planning Act was amended to include as-of-right variances. So now when we're looking at residential development in an urban area, the required minimum setback is 90% of what the zoning bylaw requires for the minimum setback. So here we're looking at Bobcaygeon, Fenland Falls, Lindsay, and Omemee. These as-of-right variances don't apply to development outside of these urban areas, and it also does not apply to any non-residential development, so things like commercial or industrial development does not apply. It's also not applicable to urban residential lands that are within 300 meters of an active railway line or 120 meters of a wetland, watercourse, or water body. So for example, if someone was proposing to construct a new dwelling in an area where these as-of-right variances would apply, a proposal that has a setback that's 90% of what the minimum setback is under the zoning bylaw would be deemed to comply. So if you're building your house and the minimum front yard setback is 7.5 meters and you propose 6.75 meters, you could do that without needing a minor variance. If your interior side yard setback required under the zoning bylaw is 3 meters and you propose 2.7 meters, you would be deemed compliant without needing a minor variance. So this is for new construction, an addition onto an existing building, and it's for residential development, which would include your dwelling, but also your detached garage, your shed, your accessory structures. So this is only for, as per the Planning Act, the distance between a building and the parcel boundary or lot line. So it's not, your water setback or minimum setbacks between buildings. It's only between your building and your lot line that this applies to. And it doesn't apply to any other provisions other than setbacks. So maximum height, maximum lot coverage, staying the same as of right now anyway. So it's really not anticipated that this will significantly impact the number of applications that we receive here. Just due to geography, we don't get a lot of applications in our urban areas comparing to, rural or waterfront communities. And usually we see variances that require multiple relief. So it's not just a setback. You probably, you might need height or lot coverage as well. So then you don't avoid minor variance there. But it will be helpful for when we're in the urban area and you're really close to complying with that setback, but you're just not quite there. It's giving people a little bit of extra room to be 90% of the way there. I think it will also help for sometimes you submit your building permit and then you actually pour your foundation and it's just a tiny bit off of what you thought it was going to be. And we've brought people here for minor variances that are sometimes 3 centimeters just because we have no wiggle room in the zoning bylaw. This will help people who are in that situation avoid having to do the minor variance process. So I don't think it will really reduce the numbers, but it's helpful for those who are in that kind of tight situation. So thank you.
What is the actual cost of a minor variance?
It's $1,550 to do the application. So that's the base fee as well as the advertisement fee. And then there can be fees from the Building and Septic Division for their septic review, as well as the conservation authorities have their own fees if those apply.
So this could save the folks some money then. Yeah. Any questions from the committee on that? All right. Anything further?
I have one.
Sorry.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I have a question. To the planner or the manager. I was under the understanding that they were also going to relax the rules on decks and staircases going into setbacks. Did that not happen?
Through the chair, I don't think anything has come forward on that at this time, but maybe it's something that there is maybe in the works. Some of our zoning bylaws do already allow for encroachments for things like decks, porches, stairs. So that would apply to these as well as an extension of the residential use. Then they could be 90% of whatever the zoning bylaw says they can encroach into as well.
Thank you.
Because I think we've dealt with issues here where decks or that sort of thing went into the actual water setback or whatever. And I guess because it's probably considered maybe not a permanent setup that we've okayed it. So anything further from committee? No. Anything further from Ms. Evans? No. Anything further from staff? All right. Committee, anything under other business that you might want to discuss? All righty. Well, the first thing I would say is, Mr. Kafari, job well done. It's not easy sometimes making these presentations because this is an extremely tough committee, as you can see. So it's very, very difficult, but no, well done, and thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Glad to be here.
All right. And to staff, again, we appreciate your efforts. You're succinct with not only your presentations, but your responses, and we do appreciate that. So much appreciated. All right. And that being the case, nothing further from staff, nothing further from committee. I guess I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Finn, seconded by Councillor Yeo. And we'll go with all those in favor. And that carries. Thank you.